Get ready to blast off into the mind-bending world of Leonardo da Vinci's most eccentric inventions. While flipping through his incredible artwork, you might stumble upon some seriously futuristic aircraft designs, but also some wacky wheels that will leave you wondering, what on earth was he thinking? Da Vinci's notes reveal that these oddballs were his vision for perpetual motion machines, the holy grail of human imagination since time began. These hypothetical marvels promise to run forever or even conjure up energy out of thin air. Let's dive in and explore the weird, wonderful world of Da Vinci's most fantastical creations. Your most pressing questions are next. Let's crack open the secrets behind Da Vinci's mind-boggling wheels. First, we're going to debunk a fascinating myth. Did Nikola Tesla really create an infinite energy car? We'll put that claim under the microscope and see what really happened. Then, we'll explore which perpetual motion machine model came closest to making it big and why it failed. But before Da Vinci and Tesla, ancient and medieval engineers were already experimenting with some wild ideas of their own. Get ready for a journey through time as we uncover the most iconic designs from the likes of Archimedes, who made one of the most groundbreaking discoveries in history back in 3rd century Greece. Tune in to find out what it was. You know the legendary story of Archimedes' Eureka moment, that split second when he figured out why his body was making water level rise in the tub. That realization led to a fundamental law in physics we still use today, known as Archimedes' principle. Now, let's see if some genius engineers way back then tried to harness this power for their own wild invention, the perpetual motion machine. Get ready to get hands-on because you'll need an aquarium with no fish, plus a few more components like air-filled light balls, heavy weights, fasteners, metal rods, and a stand. Let's build an Archimedes sphere together. So, in theory, our Archimedes sphere is supposed to keep spinning with just one push. The weight pulling it down triggers an endless motion, right? Sounds like a perpetual motion machine dream come true. But there's a catch. Those pesky frictions from the metal rod and water against the aquarium glass will eventually stop it dead in its tracks. It's game over within minutes, folks. We learned our lesson. Even with genius ideas, real-world physics has its limits. Let's move on to another mind-blowing invention that actually worked: Leonardo da Vinci's self-sustaining wheel of perpetual motion. Here's the twist. You gotta add some misaligned bars inside and a dozen metal balls for this perpetual motion machine to work its magic. The rolling balls should consistently tip the wheel in one direction, right? But wait, things don't quite play out as planned. When you actually build it or 3D print this beauty, you'll realize that those little metal balls have an equal opportunity to push on both sides of the bars. No net force, and the wheel snaps back into place. Da Vinci, being the visionary he was, predicted this outcome and never bothered building the contraption. You're probably wondering, can we outsmart this energy loss problem by building some clever, thin mechanism? Well, let's dive into the fascinating world of clockmakers who dared to dream up perpetual motion machines. One of these geniuses was Cornelius Drebbel, a Dutch engineer in the 17th century. Elon Musk. He created an incredible self-sustaining clockwork that supposedly ran forever. Talk about impressing your friends with that at a dinner party. Now, I know what you're thinking. What exactly did he build? Get ready for this. It was a glass sphere connected to a plastic hose, a nozzle, and a pipe T. Yeah, that's not something you see in most online shopping carts. Now that we have our weird and wonderful ingredients, let's put this strange machine together. First, make sure your glass sphere can swivel freely on its stand. Think of it like a top spinning around without falling off. Next up, slide in that pipe T into the sphere's top. Remember, we're building an air-based contraption here. Now grab some fluid and pour it down the hose until you have one end connected to the sphere, creating an airflow loop while leaving the other end open. Wait for what might just blow your mind. Over a 24-hour period, the liquid inside that hose will visibly oscillate. Yes, move up and down. This mesmerizing movement will set off a chain reaction. As it makes the sphere spin, the spinning motion will wind your clock, and voiled, you've got an almost eternal clockwork machine. Now that you've got your time-traveling toy up and running, let's reveal its secret. No supernatural fiery spirit here, just plain old science. The key lies in changes in atmospheric pressure, which push and pull the fluid inside the hose, making it oscillate. It's like a natural metronome, keeping rhythm with Mother Nature herself. And you're not alone in harnessing this power. Way back in the 18th century, inventor James Cox used a similar principle to wind his clocks, but instead of using liquid, he leveraged a mercury barometer to tap into those shifts in atmospheric pressure. Think you've got a machine that runs forever on its own. Hold on. Drebel and Cox's genius devices might seem like they're breaking free from external rules, but the truth is they're actually just dancing with Mother Earth herself. They use her atmospheric rhythm to keep going, making them self-sustaining for decades. But here's the deal breaker: no magic happens in a vacuum. These gadgets still need an initial push and rely on nature's vibes to keep ticking. And let's not forget, French scientist Émilie de Chatelet had some serious wisdom to share back in the 18th century. She nailed it with her principle that energy can't just pop out of thin air. Instead, it transforms from one form to another. This idea turned into the law of conservation of energy, a fundamental rule that reminds us energy is always on the move, but never truly disappears. But here's the catch. Even with an earthy boost, machines still come to a grinding halt due to friction and other sneaky slowdowns. No device can defy this rule forever, which means our hopeful inventors were up against a hard reality. Maybe it was time to say goodbye to those dreamy perpetual motion machines. But not these visionaries, they were true romantics at heart. They went back to what people considered magic just a century ago, the mysterious power of magnets. And in 1823, someone even dared to patent an innovative design, a magnet-based wheel that promised to keep going and going, a true marvel of its time. Get ready for some magic. You'll need a wheel cap, one metal ball, and a strong, straight permanent magnet, no curly magnets here. Ensure that ball can roll freely inside the wheel. Now, bring your trusty magnet close to the action. Your mission? Spin that wheel and keep the magnet in perfect harmony with the ball, making it seem like it's rolling forever. As you spin the wheel, it'll start moving because of that ball rolling inside. But what's really cool is that when we add the magnetic force into the mix, the friction almost disappears. It's like magic. Now let's take a look at how one genius took this principle to the next level. Meet Valery Dudashev, a Soviet engineer who created an amazing rotary engine. Imagine a big ring magnet as the base and two discs with tiny magnets on each side. When the same poles face each other, bam, they repel, making the shaft spin. So why aren't these revolutionary engines hitting the roads? The issue is that even though magnets can create some serious magic, they still need to follow the rules of physics. You see, there's something called the law of conservation of energy. It means no new energy can be created, only transformed. And those permanent magnets we use aren't actually perpetual, they can wear out just like any other thing. Even the best ones will last a whopping 1,000 years, but if you try to harness that mechanical energy, they'd be toast in about 10 years. But here's the thing, to get enough oomph for an electric ride, we'd be talking about a seriously massive magnet weighing in at multi-tons. And guess what? That would basically turn our sleek car into a heavy load stuck on the ground, going nowhere fast. Still, inventors refuse to give up on their dream of perpetual motion magic. So, have any of them managed to build an electric perpetual motion machine that actually works? There are some crazy tales surrounding Nikola Tesla's genius Ard. He supposedly created car engines with no visible power source. But let's be real, those were probably just innovative prototypes of his electric wiring system, which ditched gas and made it look like pure wizardry. Now, here's where things get really interesting. At the dawn of the 20th century, Nikola Tesla supposedly patented a machine that could harness limitless energy. Talk about mind-blowing. And guess what? You can allegedly build it using some pretty DI-friendly materials like plywood, foil, copper wires, and a capacitor to store electrical power. The plan is to set up this antenna high above the ground, maybe on a roof, then connect one end to the capacitor's pole with some wire magic. Finally, you'd ground the other pole and link it to your home's plumbing system. Yes, you read that right, the pipes. So, you've constructed your DIY energy machine, and now it's time for the magic to happen. As the capacitor starts to charge up, you might be wondering, where's all this electricity coming from? Well, according to Tesla, the key lies in something called the luminiferous ether. But don't worry if that sounds like a mouthful. Let me break it down for you. It basically means any form of electromagnetic radiation hitting your antenna can generate electric current. Think of it like a cosmic power boost. The possibilities are endless. Your antenna could be catching some serious energy from solar radiation, cosmic rays, or who knows what. But before you start imagining yourself living off the grid and ditching those pesky electricity bills, hold up. The catch is this: you'll need to give it an entire day for the capacitor to charge up enough to even power your phone. That's right, 24 hours of waiting just for a single charge. But wait, there's another major catch. Your antenna would need to be as massive as a football field to even make this thing work. And if you think that's wild, let me blow your mind. Back in the mid-20th century, Romanian genius Nicolae Carpan actually built an electric generator that ran for over 70 years using just some fancy electrodes and acid. The only problem is, scientists say it doesn't actually generate new power. It just uses external heat to give us a free ride. And get this, Tesla and Carpan's inventions have been so close to creating those mythical perpetual motion machines. It's like they were basically there. So, even though these inventions don't actually defy the laws of physics completely, they still produce some energy, as long as our planet keeps getting hit with sunlight and warmth, that is. Now, you might be wondering, can we ever create something truly perpetual? Well, the heat death of the universe might put a damper on those plans. But here's what's wild. In 2021, German scientists actually managed to create something called a time crystal, which could challenge our understanding of what's even possible when it comes to motion and energy. Here's what makes time crystals so cool. They're these tiny objects that can flip-flop between states over and over, like a microscopic seesaw, and they just keep going. The craziest part is, no matter how much friction or outside forces try to slow them down,